Hello, I want to talk to you a little bit about tricks of Congress. How can Congress pass bills that are largely unpopular by most people in the country? How can they insert all sorts of pork in there for their own back pockets, for their friends and family and supporters, so that you taxpayers ultimately end up paying for their political success? And repaying those who help them gain power. How do they do this? Easy. First, no bill is ever seen by the general public until it becomes law. Very rarely do people get their hands on a draft of the bill. When the final bill is drafted, they give no time, zero time, to be seen by the public at large, much less read by the public at large. They just sign it off and send it out and wait to see what happens. There's no input by the general population. There's no feedback by the general population before that finalized bill is signed. Now, our leader, Obama, stated that he's going to make sure that you have 77 days to review such bills. Sounds like a really great idea. But the Democrats just vetoed an attempt to put in a rule saying that all bills have to be online or in a readable format, all finalized bills have to be in a readable format to the general population 3 days before they're signed. Why do they do that? Because they don't want you to read it. They don't want you to know what's in it because they fear you will reject it and they won't be able to sign off on it. That is elitism at heart. That is you not trusting the people in the United States. You wanting your will over that of the will of the people. Which is roughly dictatorship, fascist, or any kind of government in which the power of the centralized government trumps the power of the people in general. Now, other tricks played. They attach amendments. Now, we recently heard that they're going to plan to attach this whole 1,000-page bill on universal health care, or actually they call it by tricky names like health independence or health for the uninsured or whatever, you know. They'll have pretty names for it, but it essentially is government-run health care. They're going to attach it as an amendment to another bill, a TARP bill that has already mostly passed. An amendment. The amendment itself would be bigger than the TARP bill. It has nothing to do with TARP, but they're going to attach it to it and then vote on the TARP bill and not tell you anything about this lovely 1,000-page amendment that restructures our whole medical system. It's a little surprise to sneak it past everybody so no one notices. Another trick they do is, well, we took advice from Republicans. We added blah, blah, blah number of amendments from them. Yes, they did. Until they take the House and the Senate version and go to committee to merge the two. When that happens, they take a list of all the lovely amendments that they included to placate somebody politically or to placate the other political party, and they erase them from the bill. And they merge the two bills in such a way that it becomes the bill that they first presented. But then it's already passed, and they can sign off on it, and now it's law. These are tricks they use to impose their will upon the public population. They will insert pork in their bills to support their constituents, their relatives, their friends. Did you know $100 million was set aside in the TARP bill or some recent bill, I think it had something to do with military, for Clinton's library. Did you know that the Democrats refused to pay a dime for Reagan's library? Now, this is how Congress, and currently the Democrats are the worst offenders. But don't get me wrong, there are Republicans who are offenders too. And that's why they lost last election, because they offended their base. Not because the Democrats are just so much wonderfuler than they are. This is why they are able to get their will across and force it upon the people of the United States while silencing, while being able to say, well, I voted against that, and I did this, and I did that, when in truth, it was all part of a game. Yes, he voted against one of the drafts, but the final bill, which was the merging of these two bills, which looks like the first draft that he supposedly voted against, he voted for. So that's the end of the story. We're done. We have to really start depowering centralized government. We have to have some more clarity. We need to have all bills in their final form submitted to the general population in a form in which they can review it for at least a week. I agree with Obama on this one. It should be passed. It won't be, trust me, because that keeps them from being able to force their will upon others. And this idea that the central conference between the two houses are going to merge the bills, that also has to be reviewed. And that final merged bill has to be reviewed by the general population. And that final merged bill has to have feedback before it is signed into law. That should be the law for all of them. And amendments should have a notation on who put it there. Anyways, if you want clarity in government, we have to start depowering it and bringing the power back to the people of the United States. Thank you very much, and have yourself a good day. God bless.